Hello everyone, today I will show you Argo CD, how to use it, why is to use it, and why it is a cool tool to bring to your company. Let's take a classical example of CI/CD pipeline. Usually in classic, CI and CD process are both employed by a single tool, which is not a deployment tool but integration tool like Jenkins. And this is how the pipeline looks like. From the beginning to the end, this is our CI/CD, where CI is this part and CD is this part. And the problem here is that it simply does kubectl apply and shows whether that command succeeded or not. It's not very visible, don't give us enough debugging information, and not much control. And it's simply a historical checkpoint, not showing what happens right now in the Kubernetes cluster. Argo CD is created specifically for deployments and specifically for deployments to Kubernetes cluster. Look at this difference. How much this differs to this. The same deployment process in different tools, Jenkins and Argo CD. Green checkbox means that this resource matches to desired version in Git. Hard means that resource is ready, passes all health checks. There are other indicators which are not on this screenshot. Besides visualization, it gives more control because all these elements are clickable and there are many operations for these resources available in this user interface. Let's split CI and CD process and delegate them to different tools, which are best in each of these parts. Jenkins will do CI and Argo CD will do CD. So Jenkins is waiting for webhooks from Git events like push or merge and runs its pipeline as usually. Argo CD constantly checks for the directory in this repo with deployment files. Every 3 minutes it compares it to the live Kubernetes cluster and tells us whether it's different or not. This is the command it runs under the hood every 3 minutes. Jenkins build new image, and then instead of running kubectl apply, it notifies Argo, hey, I've just built a new image, here is the tag of this image. Apply this tag as a Helm parameter. Here is the same diagram but from slightly different view. Repository, Argo CD application, and Kubernetes. It runs git pull every 3 minutes or faster. If you configure webhooks, it will run instantly. Argo CD renders this template from repo and compares to live Kubernetes cluster. If autosync is enabled in Argo CD, it will also apply, acting like an enforcing mechanism. There are many situations when someone or something changed live Kubernetes cluster, like edited Kubernetes resource manually, and it's hard to detect without spending a lot of time. Argo would detect such change instantly and eliminate by overriding that manual change but by the only source of truth state, Git. This is example of application settings. We have such configurations for application like where to deploy, what to deploy, how to deploy. The same configuration but in YAML, because this application I've just shown here is just a YAML manifest. It's a Kubernetes resource. And this is a manifest for this resource. Again, it shows where to deploy, what to deploy, repo, path, branch. It can be tag, commit, SHA, and how to deploy, which values to use. I always tell about Helm here, but Helm isn't only option for rendering in Argo CD. It also supports customized templating, JSON-net templating, and raw YAMLs are also supported, of course. This is another screenshot of a larger application. This is a screenshot of a list of applications. We have filters here, filters by health status, by sync status. There are also below that filters for projects, for clusters, for labels. Two different teams can apply these labels for more usability. And screenshot of broken application. For example, this icon means that pod distribution budget is missing, and this icon means that pod is not healthy. We press this button asking Argo, okay, there is a difference, show us where is that difference. And it shows, here we can see, among all possible resources, it shows exactly where the difference is. It shows that this resource with this name has annotations missing, and this stuff is missing. How to fix that? Simply press sync button. That's it. This is equivalent to deployment. This is a screenshot of pod logs. As already said, with Argo CD you will use kubectl commands much more rare. Oh, this slide is just another view of this slide. Remember, we have repo, Argo CD constantly syncing differences between Kubernetes cluster, and Jenkins, who runs only when required. Builds image, notifies Argo CD about new image, and press sync button programmatically. Let's take a more realistic example where we have not just one environment but three environments. When we have three environments, we want to have three Argo CD applications. Application is binding between revision and Kubernetes cluster and namespace. That's why we need three applications per three environments. These application YAMLs would be very similar, but values would be different because environments are different. Different target revisions. We want to use development branch for development environment, and server would be different for each environment too. Because these YAML manifests are very similar, our Argo CD provides application set to bundle all of them together, because all of them are related to the same repo. Using this application set resource is completely optional. Let's take even more real example when we have three repos and three environments. For that purpose we would need 9 Argo CD applications. That's already a lot of YAMLs. Let's track them with Argo CD. So we create application of applications and put this application manifest into a special repo called DevOps Argo. This way guarantees there are no entire application missing. We install Argo CD into Kubernetes. We can install it with Helm. It is open source and self-hosted. And after we installed Argo CD manually, we can create application for Argo CD itself. This way Argo CD syncs and heals itself. No special installation on this side needed. Here are Argo CD features. Argo CD provides a powerful command line interface. It can do pretty same what you can do in user interface. It provides web-based terminal for pods for debugging. It is disabled by default for security issues. It exposes Prometheus metrics. It provides deployment hooks. It is useful when you want to run migration job before deployment, and different biased number of authentication methods for developers who will use Argo CD user interface, and many controls over who can do what in Argo CD UI. And last, in 2022, Argo CD graduated from CNCF.